Okay, I'm going to make this a fairly quick review on the 2014 Triumph Tiger Sport compared to the Benelli 2014 model TREK. Okay, the Benellis have been making them since about 2006 roughly, and they stopped making them I think around 14 or 15, I'm not entirely sure. It's hard to get information on that. Okay, the Tiger Sport, they're still making, they updated the model in 17 with ride-by-wire and cruise control, but essentially the same bike, looks the same pretty much, and handles the same because I've ridden it. Okay, quickly. Okay, what's the three things I don't like about the 1050 Tiger Sport? I'll tell you the three things I don't like about it first. Okay, the first thing, the stock seats are crap. I bought the low comfort seat, but then I didn't like that either, so I had that modified, and so I put the stock seat back on, but the stock seat is garbage. The screen, the buffeting on the 2013 to 15 models, the buffeting is just phenomenal, really bad. This isn't the stock screen, I broke mine, a bird hit it, but I put a Palmer bracket on with the screen on it, and that made massive difference. I've taken that off to sell the bike, but if anybody wants to stop their buffeting on the 13 to 15 models, get the Palmer UK bracket, Palmer Products UK. Okay, so that's the second thing I don't like about it. And I don't really like is that you've got to check the oil by a dipstick. You don't have an oil window like the 800 Tigers and the 1200 Explorers. That's the other thing I don't like about this bike. Probably they're the three main things I don't like about the Tiger Sport. One of the other things that's a little bit of an issue, I think, is it's quite light in the rear, and you do feel that. It actually feels more stable when you've got a pillion on the back or you've got the luggage on, and weight the rear down a bit. So yeah, but that's pretty aggressive riding. I have ridden this bike quite aggressively. Okay, the three things I do love about this bike: the fuel economy. You get about 350 k's on a tank, and over that, somewhere between 350 and 400. I've got about 370, I think, before and I would have I'd probably get close to 400 if I really wanted to. Fuel economy is great. The brakes, the ABS brakes on this are phenomenal. The brakes on this thing are absolutely brilliant. Fantastic brakes, which is really good. So the brakes are really good. The fuel economy is really good, and the engine, the triple engines are fantastic. I love the engine of this. It sounds great. It's reliable, and this bike I've done 45,000 k's on it now, and haven't had an issue with it. I had a couple of little issues initially, but that was pretty much it. They do get a fuel gauge problem. It doesn't go all the way to the top. It's a sensor apparently, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's the three things I like and don't like about the 1050 2014 Tiger Sport. Okay, one other thing that's a bit annoying, the rear shock adjuster on the Tiger Sport doesn't have, you've got to use a screwdriver to adjust it. Okay, I bought a knob to put on there, so that's a bit of a pain in the ass. So you've got to buy the knob. Right, the Benelli. The three things I hate about the Benelli. Okay, the three things I really hate so far, I can't say a lot at the moment because it's only about 2,500 k's, but so far the first thing is the fuel economy. That's the biggest thing I hate about this bike. I think you're lucky to get 250 k's on a 20 litre tank, so don't buy a Benelli if you don't like fuel economy. The fuel economy is pathetic. I'm having some troubles with the dash under warranty at the moment, so hopefully that gets sorted out. If it doesn't, I'll be putting this on Facebook for everybody to see, and also YouTube. So hopefully they look after me. Okay, that's one thing I don't like. You can't get a center stand for these, so that's probably the other thing I don't like. The center stand, and I had to put bar risers on, but I had to do that with the Triumph as well. Okay, so no center stand, fuel economy, and also to adjust your your trip meters, the bike has to be running, and you have to use the start button to also adjust that as well. So you can't do it when the bike's just turned on. The bike has to be running for you to do that. So That's quite annoying. The screen's okay. It's not as bad as the Triumph, but it could be better. Okay, they're probably the three things I don't like at this stage. Oh, and this bottom part on here isn't very well made. There's a little plastic thing that can easily break off. But anyway, so what's the three things I really like about the Benelli? Probably the greatest thing I like about it is the handling. This thing, I've never had a bike that has handled as well as this. This thing, I think you'd have to be riding it like a MotoGP rider and scraping your elbow on the ground if anybody was ever that game to find this thing's limits. It is phenomenal. The handling is absolutely phenomenal. It's also got a hydraulic clutch too, which is good, where the Triumph has only got a cable clutch. It handles brilliantly. The brakes are fantastic, even though they're not ABS. The brakes are actually really good, but they're not ABS. Triple engine, the same as the Triumph, which is fantastic. That's the other thing I love about this. I love the handling. I love the seat. The seat is fantastic. This is probably the first bike I'll ever have that I won't have to adjust the seat. And it has an oil window, which I love on bikes. So that's something that's another thing I really love. So I love that it's got an oil window. It's a comfortable seat, and it handles like rails. Oh, actually, and the brakes are really good too. So there you go. There's four things I really love about the bike. Oh, and when it starts, it sounds like an F1 car, so it actually sounds really good too, but that's just more of an aesthetic thing. Oh, plus on the fully adjustable suspension, you do have an adjustment knob on this one, which is really easy to adjust your suspension. So these are a great bike, handle brilliantly, sound fantastic, are comfortable. The only downside is the fuel economy on these, and reliability could be even a bit of an issue too. That's yet to be determined, but by all accounts I read, they're okay. So yeah, but anyway, that's the Benelli versus the Triumph, the 2014 Benelli versus the Triumph Tiger 1050 Sport. So I would honestly say that the Triumph, you get way better fuel economy, probably a better bike for long touring, loading it up with your saddlebags. I'm not saying you can't do that with the Trek, mainly for the fuel economy reasons, and possibly for your if you've got any problems, for dealer network support, and maybe even reliability. With the Benelli, it's a fun bike. It handles like you wouldn't believe. I've never had a bike handle that well. I'll take this on the track, this thing, it handles that well. You know, and it's very comfortable. The Benelli is actually, from stock, the Benelli is a very, very comfortable bike. So, hope you all enjoyed this review. I'm going to do an individual review on these bikes, especially prior to selling the Triumph. Okay, so there you go. I hope you like the review. I haven't seen too many modern comparisons of late. So hopefully this helps people if they want to decide what they'd like to do between the two bikes, if they ever had that idea. Okay, the price, they were both roughly around the same price at new. They were both roughly around about 20 odd grand on road, roughly, with it, probably with some accessories. I bought the Triumph with the pannier, the panniers, which are great, and I also got the semi-soft hard panniers with the Benelli as well. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the review. They're both great bikes in their own way. They both are similar. They're both sports tourers, and they both handle great. The Benelli handles way better. Obviously the brakes, the Triumph has ABS, the Benelli doesn't. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll put this up on YouTube for you all to see. No worries. Okay, Paul from Oz. Okay, signing off. See you later.